And let's bring in leading child and adolescent psychologist Claire Rowe for more analysis on this now. Claire, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Police say that the knifeman Joel Cauchi, he had a long history of mental health issues, including schizophrenia. Did his case fall through the cracks?
Yeah, well, at this stage, Danica, we probably just don't know that at the moment. I mean, we know that there was no criminal history, no criminal charges, not known in that way to police. And I suppose the investigation will have to come out to see what mental health supports this man sought, whether he had been in some type of inpatient hospital. We're hearing there's a diagnosis there of schizophrenia, which does make people have symptoms like paranoia, delusions, and, you know, they can go into a psychosis. So that will have to come out to see exactly what treatment he had accessed, whether he was currently accessing treatment, whether he was medication compliant. And I'm sure that will be an investigation the police will follow, and we'll have to answer those questions in due course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, there are multiple lines of inquiries by police, but one of them at the moment, Claire, is that he was deliberately finding women in particular to murder, that he was going after women. What could have led to someone going down this path to go after females in particular?
Oh, look, it could be an extremely complex history of a multi-factor situation, both environmental, genetic, temperament, and then, of course, we know, you know, the diagnosis of schizophrenia, which is a very serious diagnosis. And the reality is, when you get psychiatric disorders like these are not, you know, mental health, not feeling well, depression, anxiety disorders. These are full-blown psychiatric disorders that send someone into what we call a psychosis. We cannot rationalize, explain, or understand what a brain tells someone to do in that type of state. And I suppose that's why it's so hard for the public to grapple with, because there is absolutely just no rationalising a psychotic disorder like schizophrenia. It is a very, very unwell brain. But in terms of, yes, you know, we do know that potentially there's an inquiry here that he was targeting women, and it certainly seems like that. And I would suggest that there was something in his history, childhood, current adulthood, that led him to have some type of opinions and rage against women. And I can't speculate what that could be, because it could be literally anything. But the most important thing is here, I don't think it was just the case of raging against women. It was that plus a very, very unwell, medically unwell psychiatric disorder.
Yeah, and look, as you said, and then it's going to form now a line of inquiry for police to try and piece together why and what the motive was. Something that struck me in particular, Claire, was comments made by the New South Wales Premier Chris Minns yesterday talking about children who've been exposed to this, who witness things. And he said that there's been a loss of innocence and that children at that age should not see what they saw over the weekend. We've seen a lot of confronting and distressing images. How should parents discuss this with their children and be able to approach it with them?
Yeah, well, there is a loss of innocence. I think it is now we're living in an age where events like these don't just impact the people that were there and witnessed it as eyewitness accounts, do they? I mean, literally, we have things streamed into our hands on devices. And if there was ever a call to get children off social media, I think that this is another call for it. I think if your child is on social media at the moment, I would be very hesitant to actually let them have it. I'd be turning the news off. I'd be shielding them from any images or any information as much as you can. Now, for those who are perhaps in high school age, they have texting capabilities with friends and they may have heard about it, or they may have seen images that over the weekend were popping up on social media. There's a couple of things to do here. One, I think parents need to go in and ask children exactly what they know so far. So I think parents sometimes rush in and fill in the gaps with information. Just ask some really open-ended questions. You know, you understand that something happened on the weekend. What do you know about it? What have you heard? So then you can establish that baseline. You want to reassure them of their immediate safety. You want to reassure them that they are safe physically And then you want to open up lines of communication and let them know that it's okay to feel, confused, probably fearful, sad, anger, and that that's all okay.
Yeah, some really good advice. I mean, it's a real tough topic, but thank you so much, Claire Rowe, for breaking it down for us this evening.